Ritas tolis. I'm Damien Halme, your guide to High Valyrian, the mother of all languages featured on HBO's Game of Thrones.
Valyria munuengas nuihis isa.
If you've been watching my lessons, you've learned a ton of grammar and rules.
C, D, F. F.
But maybe you're all like, I don't even know how to say hello and I love you and stuff.
I have loved you.
Love? How can you say that to me?
So let's take a pause on wrapping our heads around all the rule sets of High Valyrian and talk about how to actually say some things.
Vala Morgulis.
Vala mogules.
First, I'll throw a bunch of sayings at you. For those of you who want to just know how to say a phrase or two, then I'll go into why each of these is said the way it is. If you've watched from lesson 1 up till now, these will be awesome applied exercises at how you use the rule set for you to understand how the rules get put into practice. Let's start with some Game of Thrones flavor first. Everyone should learn this first, I think. Timtir demaliti. If you root for House Lannister, first off, why? But then you might get by saying this. Lannister va moriot ziha gelini ademis. Say you want to take a trip to Essos. If somebody comes up to you and says, Valar morgulis, you ought to reply with, Valar dohairis. Picking up a new religion based on fire and crazy shadows? You'll fit in quickly if you know how to say Pantis zobreisa se o signoti levis. And if you get a message by Raven, aka a Ravengram,
No.
you can complain and moan Tikuni zobri, udra zobriar. Here are a few less common phrases, but I think you're imaginative and you can find a sly way to slip these into the conversation. Friend owes you a lot of money? Shake him down. Aigenko tistalior, jahor gorodriri emilza. Had a close call? Did your life flash before your eyes? Skoros morgo vestri, tuvidaor. Someone at work trying to accuse you of something you clearly didn't do. Vilivasmosa idireni emilun. Homeboy being ignorant? Let's pretend, for example, your homeboy's name is, Jon Snow. Tauruni gimi, yono sonaro. And we never want to see anyone depart from this world, but I think here's a nice epitaph. Sesir urnevion zihon kelitonisa. And now a few phrases that are less Westeros and Essos and more every place phrases. I know I'm posting this in August, but it'll be the new year eventually. Biarior, arior, jedari. Oh goodness, Skorion masitas. Well, Skorosotapa. Calm down and Zugagondaor. Are you sure Lannisters always pay their debts? Ao kibio nue tepan. And just in case you want to propose to the Khaleesi in your life, you better know how to say Avi Joraelan and Ao Noma Dinilux. Here's the breakdown as to why these phrases are constructed the way they are. Knowing all the inner workings behind the saying will help you create sayings of your own. But don't freak out when I mention things that we haven't covered yet. Perfect tense, plurals, all that kind of stuff. Don't worry, we'll get there. We'll get there. Timtir means game, and demaliti is the plural genitive form of throne, so this is sort of like the game that thrones possess. Here, va moriot is an expression meaning to the end or to the conclusion. Ziha means his or her. Geluni is the plural of gelun, or debt. And the verb ademogon means to pay. Here we use the aorist tense because Lannisters paying debts are, as they would have you believe, a general truth. Valar is the collective plural of man, here kind of implying everyone. Morgulis is the aorist of morguyagon, and dohairis is the aorist of dohairagon, which says that as sure as everyone dies, everyone must serve. Bantis means night. Zobre can mean black or dark. Isa is basically the High Valyrian word for is, and se means and. Osignoti is the plural of osignon, or terror. And ledis is the adjective filled or full. Tikuni is the plural of tikun, or wing, which itself is a pakal plural of feather, but that's for another lesson. Udra is the plural of udir, or word, and once again, zobri or zobriar means black or dark. Aigenkor tistalior is a proper noun, literally the iron bank. Jahor means it's. Gurotriri is the plural of gurotrir, which is a dew or a dessert. Not like at the end of your meal, but as in your just desserts. Yes, those are two different things. Emilza is the future tense for the verb emagon, or to have. Skoros asks, what? In terms of concrete, countable things. Morgot is the dative form of morgon, or death. And vistragon is the verb to say. To be means today, and daur means no or not. Vilivasmosa is the instrumental form of vilivasma, or war. So this means by war or using war. We know in context that idereni has to be the accusative form of the Valyrian word for trial, but we don't know its nominative form. Iderene seems to be the best fit, and emilun is the subjunctive future of emagon, to have, which makes it more like would have in English perhaps. Dauruni is the plural of daurun, or nothing. Yimigon means to know, and if you tried to pronounce Jon Snow in Valyrian, I guess it would end up sounding like Yono Sonoro. Sesir is literally the words se and sir squished together to mean and now. Ornebion is watch. Zyhon means his, and keliton is the perfect passive participle of keligon, to end. When paired with isa, it means is ended. This one's pretty straightforward, but why do we use the accusative form of jedar, or year? Because this is basically implying the saying, have a happy new year. Skorion, unlike skoros, means what in ambiguous or vague circumstance. Masitas is the perfect past for masigon, or to happen. Here, skoros makes more sense as the version of the word what, and otapagon is the verb to think. Zugagon is the verb to fear, and if you remember how to make negative commands, you just take this dictionary form of the verb and add daor at the end to negate it. Here I mentioned both aot and gemot as the dative forms of you. These are the singular and plural respectively. Kivio means promise, yuhe is my, and tepagon is the verb to give. Avi is the accusative form of singular you, and doraelagon means to love. Ao means you, singular of course. Inoma is the comitative form of I, so I guess in English the closest definition would be with me. And dinilux is the passive subjunctive future tense in the second person singular of the verb dinagon, or to marry. That basically makes it would you marry or will you marry.
Next lesson, we'll talk about plurals, and I'll explain the reason why I took 10 lessons to even touch on this subject. Kirimvose. Of course, please like this video or subscribe to my channel. As you may know, I am the only video series on High Valyrian, so your support and spreading the good word will help me to prioritize this for all of you. I love teaching, and I hope you love learning. As always, dothraki.org and westeros.org are the places to nerd out about the series and the language, but also check out makinggameofthrones.com, a great website that I just stumbled upon that has behind the scenes, interviews, not to mention a breakdown of useful phrases in High Valyrian as spoken by the inventor of the language, David J. Peterson. Check this out in the link below. Gerosilas. And let's just say in this case, your homeboy's name is, and let's just say in this case, your homeboy's friend, your friend, am I off the frame when I do that? Where's my hand going in the frame? Here. I cannot remember this long line with you doing that. This is like the longest line I have to say. The only video,